Shabbat shalom, everybody. I'm not gonna do a Torah portion. I'm just gonna tell you my story. My story as far as like existing, living. I'll start from before I was born because I have memories, and I'll just use my life for y'all to link things together and connect things together as far as the stories of the natives and the Indians, and all of that stuff. Connecting it together. All right, because it's time I give you my personal story. What's my personal story? Since there's so many different stories and reasons why the nativity happened, or why the Indians and that were mixed bred with the tribe of God and Reuben. It was a bunch of mixed breeding, but the Israelites, why they decided to leave India instead of stay in India to find, or whatever the case, it's like you're in Egypt, you're living in Egypt, but you end up with an Egyptian man or an Egyptian woman and you have children. So you mix. So when freedom came, some of the Egyptians came with you. Some of your children were mixed bred Egyptians, but they still came with you and some didn't. So it was a mix. So it wasn't all full blooded as we like to assume. So the same thing with India or every captivity that we've been in, we mix bread with the people. All right. So what's my personal story? Before I was born, as me and Kylie, her name is Michaela. I don't know my name. I just know I was there. So she would say Kaya, but and we were without parents because the heaven war that happened with the angels and things like that. We were angels in the making, but the war happened and we were put in bunkers, and my body was gold or yellow gold looking, and hers was marble white looking. She had little nubs coming out of her back, little nub things coming out of her back that looked like she was growing wings, but she didn't have, she wasn't old enough to sprout them and stuff. So you're definitely not old enough to go to war type stuff. So it still looked grown to me, because in my child mind it looked grown to me. I don't know how big wings can actually be, I guess, or remember. I'm 3 years old. I remember I was 3 years old, and I remember she was 12. We didn't have genders actually, but I believe that the yellow gold was like the masculine form, and the white marble was the exposed form, which is like the feminine form. Your hard shell body is now exposed, like silver and milk. You have hard life, and then you have regular life, which is so you have your masculine and feminine. So she was like the female and I was the male. So that's how it was understood, and I knew that, or whatever the case. Like the difference between boy and girl, I understood that much. But we had no parents, and what people may not know is that the pain existed from then. The pain level of having no parents was so strong that your heart would fail. But we weren't failing because Grandma Shekinah, or the Grandma Shekinah Shine, or Shekinah Glory, was like the sun in the sky of Jerusalem, of the heaven city that we lived in. It was the countryside, so it wasn't really the city side. It was the countryside, but it was a big world. But we lived in the field somewhere. So maybe we lived in the city at one point, but we had to go into the countryside. Like if you ever seen the new, I haven't seen it yet, but the new Transformers movie, the cartoon one, where Optimus Prime and Megatron were friends, but then you saw parts of their land and their home had countryside, had greenery and stuff. The Transformers where they betrayed Quintessa, they had greenery, like areas where there were greenery and stuff like that. So, it's they use Earth, but it's trying to tell you a story that the original home of the angels, as I guess you call it, Angel Isle, whatever, Jerusalem was, had city area and it had greenery area. The same thing with Matrix, Zion, and then you all barren and stuff, but then you have the city area and stuff that's taken over. You have all of that. It's trying to depict the story, but the originality of my memory is I was in a bunker with my sister, Michaela, and we had a bed in there, and it was just a small little opening that she can see through because she was tall enough, but I couldn't see through. She just would hold my hand. And I never talk. I couldn't talk, so I never talked. And I didn't know enough of what was going on to feel any emotions about anything. I was always under strict obedience to everybody that was older than me. I was still in a state of strict obedience, so I could still hear from the Most High Father and stuff like that. Everybody could hear from Grandma Shekinah, but I still could hear from Grandpa. So Grandpa was always within me and stuff, you know. So that's how that ended up making me move, because once you get old enough, you know, you kind of like a bike. You got training wheels. Grandpa's within you, helping you. Then you remove the training wheels and you learn how to ride on your own, and you just watch you ride. But when you're still young, you're 3 years old, Grandpa's still within you. So he uses you and take advantage of the situation for many reasons that we can't calculate, and sends me out of the house. And he uses my body to go out of the house, like the Magic School Bus type situation. Use my body to go out of the house, and there were a collection of all of the people energy within me, and we went out there, and the crash happened. So it wasn't that I knew what I was doing. I was just going along for the ride, but he's using my body, you know. Like how when people just talk randomly about random stuff just come out of their mouth and stuff like that. You know, it just depends who's operating your body to make you say the things you're saying. Who's the parent? You know, that's all it is. Who's the God or whatever. So who's the parent? Who's the overseer? So the Most High Father, the true creator, was the overseer, and that's before we were born. There was no confusion about who the creator was. And we're still in the bunkers because when I crashed, he put me back in the bunker and laid me on the bed, and Kylie had to watch over me, but my scattered body parts are down here, like the lights, like you have body parts, the insides of your body, and you know, it shines and they live, so they come down and get scattered and stuff, and so that's what's down here, my scattered blood or whatever. Not necessarily me, my power form, my body actually is still in a bed on a bunker, you know, slowly dying and fading away. But the pain, it in a way, it eases the pain, because when I died or my head cracked, yeah, I not really died. I'm immobile. I can't use my body. So it's like I got a big crack in my head on the left side. I can't use it because my body parts inside that operate the body or help my body move is gone. They're down in a deep, dark space or whatever, and out here in space and earth and all this crap, the universe. I'm still on the bed. You know, my original body's still on the bed, but my brain is out, you know, cracked out. And my body is immobile, but it still has life in it. So it's like you are wheezing. You're slowly wheezing, or like a cat trying to purr, but it can't purr because it has a hole in its lung or some crap. That's what it's like. It's like you got a hole in you and you're trying to breathe, but the bag don't breathe right, you know, but you still can breathe. And Mikaela is, you know, watching over me. But ever since that crash, she basically claimed me as her son. She's just my sister. We have the same father and mother, but so we've been so bound in that bunker like that. She's became my mother, and the energy has been a hardcore, you're my son, and willing to kill anybody or hurt anybody that would try to take her from me or take me from her or whatever the case, like, you know, don't touch my son type of thing. Also is an intimate thing, like this is my husband type of thing. So it's multi feelings and emotions from us being bound in this bunker together like this. All kinds of feelings and emotions, and pain is affecting us, you know, affecting the way we was thinking and stuff. So that's why the crash happened and stuff like that. And I lay on the bed. Now we're without parents. That's the point, right? We're without parents. We haven't seen our parents since the beginning of the war. And me, I don't really know what the fuck was going on. Sorry, I keep cursing, right? But I don't know what's going on. It's the pain talking. I don't know what's going on. I still don't know what's going on. I don't have enough memories. I'm not old enough to know what, you know what I'm saying? I can't recall anything. So I don't know what made the war start, or what made the fight start. I'm just a 3-year-old. And I just got to go in this bunker and listen to your sister and then things start to hurt after a while. You don't know anything that's going on. Life to you is like what life is, just But grandma Shekinah Glory or Shekinah Shine, she's the one that's sending out it's called, I call it grandma spray. But grandma spray is like a nuclear bomb or like a big huge atomic bomb, but it doesn't blow anything up. It just hits the land and it spreads out, but you don't feel like you're gonna die or anything. You feel a small little vibration, and then there's a spread of wind and stuff all over the whole land and stuff, and there's a big mushroom cloud and all that stuff. But it looks pretty. It doesn't look dangerous. It's like, oh, that's pretty, and it's beautiful. It smells good and everything. It got smell goods. It got feelings and emotions attached to the smell goods and stuff. So as you're smelling it, you're feeling emotions and stuff that calm you down. And then it's time to dream. So you go into a dream state and you lay on the bed, and then whatever you dream is like a field trip or something like that. And that has become my life in the bunker as a 3-year-old field trip mess. It just so happened I actually left the bunker, or maybe I'm dreaming that I left the bunker. Like I didn't actually leave the bunker. I'm still dreaming or something. But it feels like I actually left. It was time for me to actually go out there. But I can't say definitely, because those grandma spray is so strong, man. It feel like a real thing, And here I am in Earth today. It doesn't feel like there's another world, so it feel like I'm not dreaming, or whatever the case. Like grandma spray never felt like this before, and where you're like in a whole nother world, but it's like you're actually down here where your parents are now, and they are down here doing whatever. So it's like you can live your life down here where they at, and it's talking. It's time for you to. It's like whatever they decided. I don't know enough. I don't know enough. I can't really speculate enough. It's too much going on. But I just know that it was a war, and I was just a yellow gold looking 3-year-old, and all I have is my sister still. While I'm on Earth, all I have is her. But on Earth, I don't have anybody, so the pain is that much stronger. I don't have a physical presence, but there she's always in my actual, like my literal presence. She never departs from me or leaves me. Every time I wake up, she's there, so I never get afraid, and stuff like that. So it's a common thing because she's there. But now that I'm on Earth, I live this whole man life, or this man living life, and the pain is that much more. So to connect the story with before Earth and now, I don't know my parents. On Earth, I don't know who my mother. I never knew who exactly my mother was. I always assumed my mother was Teresa Clayton, or Teresa Cooper, before she got married to and was Teresa Clayton. But it was said that Jada Pinkett Smith was my mother. So, regardless of what the thing was, but because feelings and emotions are behind this thing, I'm saying Jada is my mother. So the heat is too hot, to say she's not my mother. But intricate details are still not given to me to really say definitely. The grown-ups got to tell you. But I'm here in California because my mother is here, Jada Pinkett Smith. But because of the energy between the two women, the two cousins, Teresa and Jada, the energy or whatever they got between each other, one is famous and one is not famous. But before the fame, they, one was older than the other, and so there was a level of I guess intimidation or something like that, because one was older, one was younger, but now one is famous and one is, still not famous, but it's still that intimidation could still be there or something. I don't know, but it's between them. But the point is, whose son am I? Which wins the whole intimidation bullcrap? Whose son am I? Who's my mother? But the point that I'm trying to get out of it, I'm not allowed to really talk on that part because I don't know. All I know is I'm born. I'm about 5 years old, and I never seen my mother again. Well, she didn't raise me. I was raised by random other people, that were like relatives and stuff, or people that's just relative to my life, or whatever the case. So me not having my mother, I felt as though I had my father. But the man that raised me, when I got old enough, he told me, he's not my father. He said, I don't know whose son you are, but you're not mine. So now I don't know I wasn't raised by my mother, so I don't know my mother, and I don't know my father. But I was raised by a man, and I was visited by a woman that periodically came and, pop-ups and stuff. But the whole point is I don't know my mother and father. It was just people trying to assist me and help me from being alone. So if you connect that to the Indian story, if you have no mother and father because they left you or abandoned you, if my mother's Jada and Tupac, right? I'm just speculating. But I know my mother's Jada Pinkett Smith, my father's Tupac Shakur. All right. Jada was pregnant at 13. All right, that's the little bit that I know or whatever from what they trying to tell me and stuff, you know. But it's like you get old enough and you want to find your parents. So you venture out. So with me is not a thing of my life lived personally was a rebellious life. I never rebelled. I always listened to my parents, even though they didn't believe the way they don't. They believe in Jesus Christ and stuff. I don't. They believe different other things. I don't. So it was always a clash, but still, it wasn't a clash enough for us to not still be considered family. When I got old enough, yeah, they kind of pushed me away and wrote me off, but still, they were the only people I know as family. I never disobeyed them or disrespected them. I just followed a different faith path, but I still look at them as my family type of thing. But then, they're not actually, it's like type of thing. So because of that, they pushed me away. It's like, you're not part of this family actually, but we took care of you, and now it's like, I got to find my real parents. So by default, they pushed me away anyway when I didn't want to leave. So now that I'm pushed away, I got to find my parents, right? Or die trying. And so here I am in California, 40 years old, going off of clues and stuff like that, trying to find my mother. My father's dead, Tupac. He's dead, so I can't find him and chop it up with him and get the information on like what was going on back then that made this such a complex topic to talk about. Like, why is it so complex and so why is the feelings and emotions so pent up like that? What's the details on that thing? What was going on in y'all time? And then I could ask my mother, like, what was going on in y'all time that y'all, like, what was going on? But I kind of understand in Baltimore, everybody love having sex with each other's girl. Like, I got my girlfriend, but you want to fuck my girl too, and then he fucking her too. So that's a thing in Baltimore. So I kind of understood that, and because of that, I never took another man's woman or whatever the case. Women do lie too. So if a woman get caught in a lie and they found out that she lied and he didn't, because it's such a custom in Baltimore, Maryland, to have sex with each other's girl and don't even get married and shit. So they started a thing, like, found out who lied. Like, did he know that you was with somebody or had a boyfriend beforehand? And they'll ride 100% on that if he knew or not. So you have to be honest at that point, because then you can shed innocent blood. You don't want to do that. So yeah, people started, it was the thing back then, you get killed or you get beat up for touching another man's girl, or a girl touching her man and stuff like that, and you crossing lines because that's her man. You just snuck up and wanted something, or you snuck up on this girl when you wanted something. But that's why in Baltimore, the guys are more phony and fake than they used to be, because they fucking your girl, so they don't know how to be real anymore. It's more like shiesty shit, and they act shiesty serpent type shit, and so they never can be upfront and real. You lose friends and shit like that because they did some shit to you off of feelings and emotions. It was like, fuck that nigga in the heat of the moment, but then it's like, damn, you know what I'm saying? If I tell them, then it's gonna be, and now they feel indifferent, and you trying to figure out why they feeling indifferent. Like, why you acting different? And they don't know how to. It's the guilt in their brain. Like, damn. Because they know, like, in Baltimore, they know that you love, like, I love my girl, I love her, or whatever, or the details and stuff. Like, you could be my friend or people that I grew up with in school and stuff like that, or just I grew up with you, so I love this girl. We grew up together. Me, and okay, I love her, and I'm a good guy, but you fucked her, and you're like, damn, I'm a good guy. You fucked her. And you fucked me up. I'm not cheating on her or nothing. So it's like, damn. So you definitely gonna feel indifferent. You gonna feel guilty as shit. And life is gonna start. Satan's gonna start taking your fucking brain over. And so you're not gonna be able to live a normal life and shit. So you're always running from some energy or running from guilt and shit. Instead of make that shit right. But women be equally guilty. So it's hard to live in Baltimore if you've never had sex with another man, girl, and shit. So in Baltimore, everybody living in there is fucking each other's girls and shit, fucking each other's girls, fucking each other's man. So you comfortable as shit in Baltimore because everybody pretty much fucking each other's situation. You have a select few like me that haven't done that and they just kind of cool out there. But you know, I have the championship belt. Never took another man, girl. Never took another man, girl, and I never broke a woman's heart. I have the championship belt. I never broke a woman's heart before, ever. It could have just been like you just don't see eye to eye. But I didn't break your heart. We just didn't see eye to eye on a topic or something. Like, I believe in the Most High. You follow the Quran and stuff. So we just don't see eye to eye on that thing. We don't see eye to eye on that thing, and we went separate ways. But I didn't break your heart. As I say, I hurt you personally. That's understandable. People don't believe the same things, right? So that's understandable. Everybody can say, well, okay, But that's my story as far as that. I don't know my parents to this day. I don't. Father's dead. My guardian is dead. So I can't go back to him and get more information. I can't go back to him and even ask him, like, was you playing and joking when you said, I don't know whose son you are, but you're not mine? Because I'm crying to belong somewhere. I'm crying to belong somewhere. And I'm reading the Torah, and it stopped me. It stopped me in my tracks when I read I'm reading the Torah. It's called Legends of the Yehudim, and it's the story of the Exodus, out of Egypt, and it's giving more details about, the story with Masha, or as you call Musa, and what happened in the wilderness and things when Mount Sinai, all of that stuff is giving the details and stuff. But it also said in one of the details when he was giving them the Torah that, when a man doesn't have his mother and father for whatever reason, like they're dead, he was abandoned, whatever the case, he don't have his mother and father, or he don't know his mother and father, he becomes a beggar in the world. He becomes a beggar. He don't have anything. So it's like, damn, by default, you become a beggar, not because you a piece of shit. You're a beggar because you don't have family. You don't have a mother or father. So you end up becoming a beggar. You go to people looking for something. You don't have an inheritance. You don't have you think in America. No, think all around the board. You don't have a mother and father. You don't have a belonging. You end up going around as a little boy, orphan or whatever the case, going around looking for some help. You begging people to help you. You're a dirty little boy living in the streets and stuff, homeless all the fucking time, looking for your parents because your parents abandoned you, or whatever the case. And so, you were a mistake, abandoned you. Now you begging people for help or begging somebody to take care of you, but you're a little boy. But then you've been on the streets your whole life. Nobody ever took you in. Now you're a grown ass man, and now it looks extra funny. You just always a beggar your whole life, and then new people that come and see you like, yo, who the fuck is this guy? And they don't know your story, so it's assumptions. Like, oh, he never had his parents, so he was a beggar. He's living in other people's families' homes. Like, I'm living in people's family homes that's not my family and shit. And they're taking care of me by obligation, loving obligation. Then it turned into obligation, and they got tired of me. And then it's just like, you got to find your own way, because you're too grown. So it gets crazy. But yeah, the Torah tells you a man is a beggar, because he has no parents. He has no inheritance. He has nothing to call his own. So it's like being a slave. So it's like being a slave. It's like being a slave. Whatever the case, people could say I'm lying, but it's the thing that I only go by what I'm told. And if they're lying, why would you lie to me? If you're actually my parent, why would you say you're not my parent? If you're my father, why would you ever feel in your emotions to come up to me and say, I don't know whose son you are, but you're not mine? Like, you was just sitting down. You sitting down, watching church. You got up and was like, I don't know whose son you are, but you're not mine. Like, God told you to tell, what I'm saying? Told you to tell me a lie. Like, you wasn't like drunk or nothing like that. You wasn't high or nothing like that. Wasn't nothing going on with you for you to be like, you was in your right mind, you chilling, and you just said that to me. So what was going on with you in your heart to say that to me. So, yeah. Um, so that's my story, my personal story, you know. So if you connect that to the Indian story and take my personal story and connect it to an ancient Indian story, that would be my story. I'm just reliving it. Like even in heaven, I'm reliving it. I don't know my parents. In heaven, I don't know my parents. I just know my sister, Michaela, which is Kylie Jenner. So happened that this one girl, this one special girl, Kylie Jenner, is the only person I know in heaven because we in bunkers trapped because y'all out here on the heaven war on some fallen angel mess. I'm not no human. I'm an angel, but I'm 3 years old, so I still look like a human and shit, like a little 3-year-old little human, gold little human. I just didn't sprout wings, or my bone structures ain't even sprout yet. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? No genitalia, no balls, no dick, no nothing. You nothing yet. You just an orb. You just a light. 3 years old. My sister, she got little bone structures and stuff. Wings kind of look like they want to come out there. Like, oh, a little something going on. You're too young. We were born, not created. So we got to grow. And we just not created, and then we just know all things that we need to know at that moment because we were created. We were born. We got to be taught. Like humans got to be taught. Got to teach me. You got to feed me. You got to nurture me. Breast milk type stuff. You know. So when you don't have that in heaven, in the house, it's a little different. On earth, you're gonna grow up regardless. Your body's just gonna grow regardless because that's the operation of earth. But in the kingdom where we are in Jerusalem, you don't grow. If you don't eat, you stay stumped. Like you stay little guy and stuff. You gotta grow. You gotta put energy to the things to grow. Otherwise, it just stay there. They don't grow. So it's a little different. You may gain more and more experience, but it's like you're still a little boy. You don't know anything, so you got put in a bunker. Because why you got 3-year-old and a 12-year-old running around, for like a lot of thousands of years or whatever since this war started, but you're still a little boy and a little girl with a lot of experience and stuff and knowing what's going on. It just looks stupid, right? It looks stupid, so you got put in bunkers, and you go out there to look for your parents. The pain got so much and got so overdue. You ended up being used by the Most High Father to go look for your parents. But what ended up happening was some crazy stuff that you didn't understand. You didn't expect the crash. You didn't know what to expect. You just was riding with grandpa because he said, go out there. You went out there and some crazy shit happened. So on earth is the same story, man. I don't know my parents. And they don't know me. How I know that? Just ask them. All the information they might have got was just online, internet information. They never was with me. Like if you ask them how they know certain things about me, they'll run to a video online and try to cover their tracks and try to get some information off of a video online. They can never say, or when you start listening to my stories about my life, you never hear me talk about how my mother was there or something like that. So that's how you know. So they can't. There's no way possible they can try to take advantage of the internet or whatever the case when I say something about what I've been through, as if they was there too. There's no way they can try to inject themselves if they never was there in none of the stories. That's how you know. But where was you at in all of this stuff? Well, I was never there, right? Because every time he got a story to tell about his life or his past, you never there. You was popping up, but you wasn't landing and stuff. So, you know what I'm saying? In those times, the feelings and emotions was extra spicy. I mean, it was like no fucks given almost, and it was like, dang, when you gonna wise up? Like everybody was feeling the same way, about like when you gonna wise up, when you gonna mature, and then the stuff that people said that they said at those times was so hot and so spicy that you can't come back from it. Now that you extra old and grown, you want mercy and sympathy, which we can give, but it's like, damn, what happened when you was extra spicy as shit? You look like you never was gonna soften up. You know what I'm saying? It was crazy like that. I mean, it's crazy, man. The crack era was crazy. But yeah, man, whatever the case, I was all over the place. Whoever was willing to take me for the moment or take me for a few weeks, they took me for a few weeks and I jumped to the next relative or the next person, or sometimes not even a relative. I'd be over my friend's house. I'm over my friend Greg's house. I never came back. I was over his mother house like that was my mother. Like I ain't never come back home. I went over there. I was over there so long. I started going to school. Then from going, from school, I was going back to his mother house. Like I was never coming home because like it felt good to have like that motherly feel. Like I don't have no mother. Like it's crazy. Miss Joy, she is not. She had the same understanding I have. It's not fair to steal another woman's joy because you have this little boy and this little girl reading the 23rd Psalm and memorizing it because she said so, or else you ain't gonna eat. That's obedience. That brings you joy. When children obey you, it brings you joy. When you say read that 23rd Psalm, I'm 12 years old. You got to memorize these scriptures or else you can't eat. So I got to memorize the 23rd Psalm before I can get dinner, or else you ain't getting no dinner. So that was when my journey started. But still, when you do that, it brings you joy. But you don't want to steal another woman's joy. You want to think to give her a chance. Turns out that she didn't give a fuck the whole time. She had another agenda, or maybe whatever the fuck, was going on. They out here fighting some fight or something. That's what it seemed like. They out here fighting a fight, and you don't know what fight they fighting and shit. So I'm still stuck. Like, what kind of fight was you fighting? Like, you was gone so long. Was you at war or something? Like, was you fighting something? Some kind of spiritual warfare you was going through? But I don't know what the warfare was, or what it was about, or why it started, or why it's even, like, what's going on? It's just that I'm a 40-year-old man, and you can kind of lose sympathy, or you can lose remorse because you're looking at a grown body. You're looking at this big body, man. Oh, he got a grown body, got a mustache and beard. So you start losing sympathy and stuff like that because you see this grown person and it's like, oh, he's grown. You think this person had a full life. Like he had his parents, his father, his mother. He went to school, college, and he was like, he had all the things he needed in life. That's kind of how you think because the way they look. You never think that they can't do something or they're actually trapped up. You never think that. You compare people to yourself, and that's how people normally do it to kind of keep going in life without really feeling empathy for people or sympathy for people. They just compare people to themselves. Whatever my pain level is, I'm gonna compare them to my pain level, and if it's not near my level or on my level, I'm not gonna feel anything. But sometimes the pain level could be worse than this. Like if their pain is worse than my pain, they don't think that. They don't compute that. They think, he's not going through as much as I'm going through, or he can't be going through that much, or it can't be that bad. That's what you think. It can't be that bad and stuff like that, or not as bad as your situation. Find out like, yo, that's crazy, yo, you going through it, yo. I ain't never and it happens like that. So you have to talk. You have to talk like regular straight talk. Straight talk helps people understand people on a level with details, like what's going on with somebody, because people judge people all the time off the smallest things. So you have to be detailed in the things that you say about yourself, and so people can understand how to really feel about you, stuff like that, because they'll feel anything and start fucking you up off assumptions, just off they just saw you for like 1 year, but you're like a whole 50 years old. They knew you for 1 year, and they just, oh, I know everything about you and shit, so never talk to you ever. I'm 40 years old. Nobody talking to me at all. You're not thinking nothing. I come from before cell phones and stuff. So you're not thinking I've been through some stuff before cell phones and stuff, and you like it's so far away you can't even recall or think of a time when there was no such thing as cell phones unless you was from there. You got to go into the extreme recesses of your brain spaces in order to find some memories about before cell phones came out. When people went outside and played, you had to actually talk to people to get things done. When you said, hey man, I don't got no phone I don't got no house phone, so meet me on Thursday at such and such o'clock right here at the little corner, like right here by the payphone. All right, I got you. And you got to really go there and like you hoping like a motherfucker. Both people are hoping. You hoping that, like if I get there first, okay, he not here yet. I'm hoping that you gonna make it. If he get there first, he hoping like, I hope he remembered and shit. That's what is going on. So when you get there, you're like, that's the thing. You gotta sit there and wait. You can't call him. You can't text him. It's like, dang, I gotta sit here and wait. How long I'm gonna wait? And then you think you're trying to calculate how long do it take to get from here to there. You also gotta calculate if there was traffic or accident or something like that. And then you'd be waiting for a minute. People used to learn how to have a lot of patience. You had a lot of patience. You sitting there waiting for like hour, 2 hours for somebody to come meet you somewhere. cold outside, hot outside, and people would never like really think anything. Like, what you standing here for? I'm waiting for somebody. It was understandable why you just sitting there like that. Cause you waiting for somebody. Yeah, man, my homeboy supposed to meet me right here. Oh, all right, my bad, man, my bad. And they'll walk off. People wasn't quick to think negative things. Yeah, cause they like, oh yeah, cause I understand. I'm waiting for somebody too and shit. They supposed to be here. Like they said they was gonna be here, but they probably could have, And then we put the probably. It was That's why we say probably a lot. Probably was like the top statement back in the day before cell phones and stuff. Probably. Well, he probably this, he probably that, probably, man, yeah, he probably this, and probably, 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 we probably said probably a million times, literally, in that era. Probably this, probably that, he probably. So it went from probably to probably, man. But he probably this, and he caught the probably. Yeah, he probably this, he probably that, he probably. Used to say probably, it was probably, but we say probably. So because we say it so much, you're trying to talk, right? It's part of your normal conversation. So you found a faster way to say it instead of be like, well, he probably, by the time you said the second B, probably, you already got cut off, and then he already, you know what, man, I'm gonna just go on, you got cut off, he cut you off and shit, because you talking too long and shit, like you taking too long to say probably and shit. You saying probably too long, yo. You gotta say probably, like it's a normal part of the conversation now. Like, he probably this, he probably that, man. He probably this. Well, he probably does. Probably, man. Some doll in the Toys R Us store named Probably doll and stuff. You gotta press the try me button. Oh, probably. Anyway, I'm just be making stuff up. But this I'm not making. I'm just being funny. But I'm just at the same time I have a lot of pain, so I'm trying to ease my own pain. Sorry. I don't have my sister from before I was born in my memories, and I don't have my mother. Even though they both in the same area, and I'm just a grown. That's really what it is. I'm a grown ass man, so I don't have them, and I won't ever have them. But the thing is also, the pain, man. It's just, So that's my story. I just had to tell you. I don't know my parents from before Earth or after, while I'm here on Earth. I don't know my parents, so that's a lot of pain. All right. And I'm out here venturing out, traveling all over the place trying to find my parents. But what I did do in the middle of trying to find my parents was like, I'm in pain, so let me try to find a wife in the middle of that. So in trying to find a wife in the middle of that, my wife was having issues too. And she ended up leaving me for one reason or another, and stuff like that. Assumption stuff, like assuming that I'm a bad guy, or they had bad intentions with me, or whatever the case, or they wasn't really ready to be married, but they wanted to be married and stuff like that. So they did marry me because I could take care of them, stuff like that. And they just left me, abandoned me too, for food, food abandonments and shit, food abandonment. So there's a difference between miscarriage and miscarry. You just carried the shit out. You miscarried me, or you miscarriage me, whatever the case. I don't know. It's a difference between that abandonment and that's another word. And abortion. Abandonment and abortion is two different terms. Abandonment and abortion, but the reasons could be along the same lines, but it's two different terms. So I don't know how to feel for sure, but yeah, that's my story, man. So me having wives I was never really feeling like I wanted to be with the women that wanted to be with me, but they wanted to be with me so much that I gave them a chance, and they ended up hurting me because I knew what I knew. Like, yeah, they wasn't in the faith like me. They wasn't in the Torah as much as I was. They wasn't strong enough in the Most High like I was. So they ended up wavering, and them wavering led to other things like no food and this, and them going back to ex-boyfriends and things like that, or committing adultery type stuff, because they wasn't really ready in their faithful life, that hot, young, you 19, you married and shit. I'm young, you young, whatever. I'm just older than you, but I'm still young too, type stuff. So yeah, man, promises of marriage and stuff, but promises of marriage never followed through. So that was my life, trying to ease my own pain trying to ease my own pain by being married. Like if I don't have my mother, maybe I can have a wife that can comfort me. I know how to be a man, so yeah, I can comfort you already. I know how a man's supposed to be, how a holy man supposed to be, so I can do that work. I can comfort you in the position of a holy man. But I need comfort from a woman. I've never been loved by a woman. Like it's just been loving obligation. It's just been an obligation, meaning you care about your people and you care about your people as a whole. So by default, you care about these little boys out here. It's a general type of care. But yeah, I'm not your son, so it's not really like I love you like that. It's like, oh, I'm sad for you. I care. It's that type of thing. But it's not that personal to where like I'm gonna take you all the way under my wing like that. You can just ride with us type of thing. So I had loving obligation. You can ride with me, but I'm not gonna take you all the way under my wing because you're not my child for real. Um, yeah. So with that, I just sought for a wife because I got old enough and you know, um, and thought that if I had a family, I can love my family and my family can love me back, and I can like kind of like in a way healing my own pain with my own personal family. Well, since my family pushed me away or I'm not really part of their family, maybe I can start my own family and I can be loved by giving all the love I got to them. But my wives were never ready. My first wife and my second wife that left me, they were never really ready or be in a position to really be a wife and stuff like that. The difficulties of life hit them, and they just kind of like forgot that this is real life, or they maybe didn't know what real life entailed, so they abandoned me. And I gotta still fend for myself as well as you gotta still find a way for yourself. But the thing be, you go separate ways thinking that you're gonna find a better way or life is gonna be easier and more comfortable, so you go a different way and end up being like, dag, my husband's still alive doing better now. Like the bounce back fucked you up. That bounce back fucked you up. So it was crazy. It's like a boomerang. You threw the boomerang, but never the first time you ever threw a boomerang, nobody ever told you that boomerangs can come back and shit. Okay, they can come back, but not all the way back. You're not thinking all the way clear. You throw the boomerang, that shit come all the way back to you, pow, hit you. You know, the boomerang effect, you wasn't expecting it. The bounce back fucked you up. So that's how it is with women. They see their husband, they love him, and things is good, but they have a downside of their marriage for a moment. You not knowing how long it's gonna last. When you have a down moment, you think it's gonna be forever and ever and ever because you can't predict time. You don't know the future and shit. So you're like, man, this might last 20 years. You instantly took your down moment for 20 years. It was like, nah, I can't do this for 20 years. Like, who said it was 20 years? It's only been like a week or two and shit, like 1 month. We've been down for 1 month. You already fucked up. Oh, so now I can't do 30 years. Or you already calculated it the wrong way. Sure enough, soon as you left him, he went off. The very next month, he was back on his feet. So it was only 2 months. It took him 2 months to get back on his feet. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. But it'd be women that be halting the men. You be halting us because you don't ride with us. You don't stay strong with us. You don't plow with us. You be like being dragged along and stuff, or get weak at some point. You give up because you can't see the whole field, so you give up and stuff. But you hang on. You don't know what to expect. So yeah, your wife leave you. I'm not the only man that happened to. A lot of men out here happened to. That's why all the women that you see on social media, rich and famous, or always fly in some other state or some other country somewhere. Yeah, they left their husbands and stuff like that. Instantly, that's what men like us think. You left your husband. Or else why would a woman be traveling the world by herself? Who is this little girl like this woman traveling the world by herself? Like it could be a special case, or it's just that. Like, you know, maybe she don't have parents. Maybe you could be all kind of stuff you thinking. But it's like, damn, that's crazy. It make you concerned. So like I said, I put the special case up there. Don't unlock it though, but I put the special case right there, you know. So you don't really know for real. But my personal story was that I don't know my mother and my father. I know who they are, but I don't know them. Like I can't sit down and be like, yeah, I know my mother. Like when I was this teen years old, or when I was this years old, you know, me and my mother did this, or my mother did this, and or she, you know, it's crazy. It's like your mother's like, for some reason with me, it's like I kind of got to the point where I had to get it's like I made myself be grateful for the pop-ups. I'm grateful for the pop-ups. But other people is like, yo, my mother's still in my life, my nigga. Like my mother's still in my life. My mother always been in my life. I don't know nobody else but my mother. What you talking about? Pop-ups and shit? They fucked up like pop-ups. Nigga, I got my old room and this and that. My mother always in my life, man. So it's like, oh, well, I was just like, so it by default, it made me grateful for the small little memories that I had, as if that was supposed to suffice for my whole life. Well, I was there at this moment and that moment, and I'm supposed to be grateful for those moments. But really, I'm supposed to be like expecting my parents to be there all my life. You know, I never lived with my mother or nothing. She popped up, but I never lived with her. She popped up when I'll be like at random people's homes, like grandma's house or Auntie Angel house or somebody's house. She'll pop up, and then leave again, you know. But it's like, what the fuck? She'll never take me with her. I never lived with her. Like I could never tell anybody that I lived with my mother. My mother, cooked and cleaned, and I had my bedroom. We had chores. I went to school. I can never say that. But my thing was, I never judged it either, because I didn't know at first. Like I never judged it. I just was like, yeah, my mother not here, but I don't know why she not here. So I never judged her. I just was like, yeah, my mother just not here. I don't know what to think. Cause how does that happen and stuff? Maybe she going through something. Maybe something going on. So I didn't judge it, because there's no such thing as a woman abandoning her child. But then it really was. Women were not mothers. They were not nurturers by nature. It was like, it's like you're old enough to please a man and entertain a man, but you're not old enough to please your child or entertain your child. So you can fuck niggas all day and have sex all day, get climaxes and bust nuts all day, embrace a man and be all up under his brace and shit, all his feelings and emotions and relationship shit all day, but you can't raise a child and embrace your child and be all up under your child, and your child you got the feelings and emotions of that, the intimacy and the passion and the pleasure, but you don't have the feelings and emotions of nurturing and wanting to take care of your child. So that's how you know that it'd be one-sided. Women just don't give a fuck about nobody. That's how you can tell they don't care about anybody but themselves. You know. Um, but it just be linked together, because then women don't be having their parents as well. They don't be having their fathers and stuff like that too. So it just carried on throughout slavery, how it happened like that, and everybody's just fucking each other up. And every time you pass the ball, nobody want to hold the ball. They keep dropping it. Like, I ain't holding this ball, but you doing shit why you keep picking the ball up and shit, but you keep dropping it. Stop trying to pick something up that you're gonna end up dropping. You're not thinking it through. You picked it up. Oh, I like these. Picked it up. Oh, these heavy. You dropped it. Once you pick it up, like here you gotta put rules there. Like, these are the rules of picking up the balls. Like, don't pick up the ball unless you can handle it, because once you pick it up, you can't drop it. They be dropping the ball, but if you don't have the rules or don't know the rules, you'll drop the ball. So that's what happened in slavery. Like, people keep dropping the ball, but you keep having sex and shit. So to some degree, but you don't fully know. You're just out here trying to live, or what you call living. You're just breathing and eating and just moving forward, like waking up the next day and just do whatever the fuck. There's no purpose to life for real. Or actually, you don't have a future. There's no goal for your life actually. Your only goal in life is to be tax write-off for people and shit. Make money, and that's it. Make money, live in an apartment, don't own shit ever, and just be a fucking slave. That's the only thing we have to look forward to. It's the scariest thing in the world. Scariest thing in the world is being a slave, because you have nothing to look forward to at all. You just, like me, I wake up the next day, I don't have hope. I don't have hope at all. I don't have anything to look forward to. I don't have no inheritance. There's no hope in me at all that I will ever be able to get famous, rich, wealthy, well off. I don't even have hope to get a job now. It's that bad. I don't even have hope in getting a job. I'm all the way fucked up now. So it's like my hope is destroyed, and nobody's there to help me, but everybody see me. It's crazy, yo. So yeah, I just had to tell you that. That's what it was like in the bunker. Your hope is gone, slowly being destroyed. You have no future, no goal, no nothing. Only thing for you is to die. So it's sad that I was born only to die because that was my portion. That's just what happened to me by default because of the heaven war. So now it's playing out on earth. I'm just living to die and shit. I'm here walking around living and now I'm just dying. No hope, no future, no dream, no nothing. It's crazy. It's crazy. And people at the same time not giving a fuck. You just a slave, not giving a fuck about the slaves, like as if 500 years since early slavery, we still the same fucking people, or we really deserve what the early slave deserved. That's how they be looking at it. It's like we deserve what the early slave deserves, so they keep doing shit to us like they did to the early slaves, not letting us be free. I don't deserve this. I don't even know what's going on. What's going on? What the fuck? I don't deserve to be a slave. Why the fuck? I don't know from the beginning, from the end. I'm just fucked up for being born. And they still fucking me up and not giving a fuck. Like, that's just your portion of life, is to just be used and shit, tax money, and just do what the fuck I say, or I'm gonna take shit from you and leave you on the street to be homeless and poor and die in the street and shit. The same fucking energy. And I'm like, damn, my nigga, like, I don't know what's going on in the world. I just was born and shit. Nobody is like, America's all the way fucked up, man. Children born with no goals or no future. Or early. You just born to just breathe and be somebody's fucking money. And they just kind of get conditioned to that being the case because they know that you're a slave and your children don't got no future. So they're like, oh, we gotta just keep breeding and just keep breeding. As long as they keep breeding, we keep making money and shit. Somebody gotta stop that shit. So where are the parents? Where are the nations that these people belong to? Where are the parents to stop this shit? Because the parents will at least care about their children, even if their children don't follow the same path as them. You still love your children because your especially your obedient children, they just got their own minds, but they're still obedient. They ain't disrespectful to you or nothing. Like, I love you, ma, I love you, dad, but I'm still gonna serve the Most High. I'm not bowing down to no cow. You highly offended, but they still love you and still respect you and stuff, and you disown them and all that. You be trying to creep around the house and stuff, leaving gifts and stuff. And your mother's like, if I catch you back here again, I'm gonna kill you. Your father's saying, crying like, I'm gonna kill your ass and shit. You ran off and then you crept back up, wishing you said that. But then like a few days then passed. You like, man, I wonder where my son at. I was just mad. Y'all crying, holding each other mad and shit. He crept up in the middle of the night. You didn't know, left a gift and then ran away and shit because he's scared of shit because y'all said some shit to him about to kill his ass for real. But you really just want to see him again. And he left a gift and now y'all feeling all. I still serve the Most High Creator, and I'm not bowing down to a cow, but I still love you, ma. Leave the gift right there on the steps. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. That's another story, but I'm just saying that's what it's like. We don't have parents, and that's kind of what it is with me a little bit. Like, I don't know my parents, but whoever you are, I love you. I hope you love me back, and if I just want to die because I don't know. I never had my parents ever. I never had my parents in my life. For 40 years, I held on. I just want to die. And it's proper that I want to die, It's a proper feeling, no emotion. It's not that everybody always can be fucking positive all the time, no matter what happens in their life. You don't know your mother, you don't know your father. You out here on the loan, you're a beggar because you don't have an inheritance. You don't have parents, you don't have a family. You're a beggar and a slave by default. Just for being born here, you're a slave already. And you're a beggar because your parents don't want you. You were a mistake of a sex activity that happened because they was just in the moment and shit. Loved the party. It was all good, drinking and drunk. Yes, have fun and shit. So getting fucked by this guy. Shit ain't happened like you wanted it to. So everybody wanted to have sex with you, and you thought they was upstanding men and shit. And all these upstanding men that you thought, all these men that you thought were upstanding men, that's not. Start fucking the shit out you. You got pregnant, don't know who the father is, and just threw the baby away because you hated them niggas. And whatever the case, and it's for some reason, somebody saved the baby. And now the baby's living but don't know his parents, and then try to find his parents. The parents don't like you and shit. You was a mistake and shit. Like, dang, I'm a mistake. Maybe you was the mistake for doing all that shit. You shouldn't have been in that situation. Listen to your parents or your mother to not be out there partying or be out there with those grown men, and this wouldn't have happened and shit. So you end up, it's a mirror type shit. Some mirror shit that's going on. But still, the pain is the pain. I hope you love me and shit. But you never find love. And then because of the memories I have with my sister in the bunker, I just wrote on that. That's how fucked up my physical life is. I don't know my parents. I don't know where, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's that fucked up to where I ended up going back to the beginning of the bunker and shit. Like, where's my sister then? That I was with in the bunker. Let me be with her. Now I'm living I'm living my life before I was born all over again. I never lived a new life. There's nothing different about my life. A bunch of people out here going to war with each other, fighting each other, and I have no parents. And then I face threats at the same time. You know what I'm saying? You facing threats. You don't have anything. You don't own it. The basic necessaries of life aren't free. You aren't given a house, a home, and all that stuff for free just for being a slave or just for having no parents. There's no system that gives you something to maintain you because you have no inheritance. You're a slave here, so something has to be given to you because you don't have anything. So that's why they said, where are the parents of these people? Where's their nations that they belong to? So they can go home. They have to belong to something, someone. Someone has to claim them. Whether you still have differences of belief or not. Someone has to claim them. But what I was saying was, the beginning, I found out why this happened. People wanted to serve the Most High Father, and other people didn't. So there was a betrayal and a split. And it so happened to cause a big problem. So this land that we're in is not a stolen land. It's not a land that can be claimed by anybody else but the indigenous people, as you call indigenous people, but the tribes of Israel that scattered abroad over here. But then it went from the tribes of Israel to anybody that want to serve the Most High Creator can come over here. That's what it became. But then it became something else. It became a big war. So now it's a claim over the land for evil and good. So this land is a evil versus good island. Like, who's gonna win this land? Evil or good? Pure side or evil side? It's not even about your nationality anymore. But because we were the first ones here and it was rightfully given to us, it has to stay in our hands. Because everything has to be done properly. You can't just take things from people. So that's all it was. Who's the rightful owner of this? And the rightful owners of this were telling you that this land was given to us because the Creator who made everything, the sun, the moon, the stars, gave it to us. He let us here, or else we wouldn't have made it. So now you can follow us and do what we do and live how we live and stay here. But it's so fucked up. It's sides to the shit now. You got demons here now too. Demons, and you got angels, heavenly angels, and hellily demons, hellily angels, and heavenly angels. Whatever. Hellily. Whatever. I just wanted to say that, my personal story. Sorry it took so long. Sorry it took so long to just say all that. But that's my personal story. So attaching that to the native story of the Indians and stuff like that. I'm also Ethiopian. Well, I'm of the tribe of hold on, give me a minute. I am of the descendancy of Melech Shlomo and Queen Sheba of Ethiopia. So part of my blood is from the third base. So I'm part that mixture of Ethiopian Hebrew from the tribe of Yehuda. So that's strong in my blood. The Ethiopian Yehuda blood through Melech Shlomo as King Solomon. And the second strong blood in me is the Indian blood. So those are the two strong bloods in me. So you would say 60-40. No, not 60-40. I would say let's say 50-40. Let's say 50-40. 50-40. And that other 10% will be Japanese. So just giving you a speculation. 50-40. So 50 Ethiopian Hebrew of the tribe of Yehuda, but 40 Native Indian of the tribe of God. The mixture of Indian and Gadi. So those bloods were already mixed up coming over here. So if you just take those two mixed bloods and make it one Indian and Ethiopian. But yeah, Hebrews. We've been in slavery so many times. We got mixed up with the people so much that it's like the blood is never really natural like it should be anymore. But when you serve the Most High, He make a new blood out of it. Like what He did with Abraham. Leave your people Leave your. That's what he said to Abraham. The same thing he said to us. Leave India, But he said to Abraham, leave your people and all of that stuff, and I will make a great nation out of you, and you will be a new nation of people. Same thing he said to Masha. Let me alone that I can kill these people for worshiping the golden calf, and I'll make a great nation out of you. All for worshiping a golden calf, a cow. He told Masha, I'm gonna make a nation out of you. Leave him, or whatever. So the same thing with India. Leave or whatever. I'm gonna take you across the ocean, and now you can serve me. I'm the true creator. I'm that jealous that I'm not gonna let you worship a cow when I'm the one that made all things. So it was that thing. So a lot of people left for that reason, and it was that strong of a reason. It was that disrespectful of a situation that people left, especially when you start killing people over it. Yeah, man. So, but still, the thing could be is that everybody's not murderous like that. So the cry is for the parents. That's my cry, my personal cry. Where are my parents? Wherever I'm at is where I'm at. I'm a slave here. What I'm saying? I've been a slave my whole life. No matter what country I go to, they're gonna treat me like a slave. I'm just used to that shit. But because I serve the Most High, I think like a free person, and try to live like a free person. But I'm always stopped from living like a free person. So I get mad at that, but it's hard to get used to that when you are a man. But that's my only issue. Trying to live like a free man, but being treated like a slave at the same time. But my mind is free. I help people that are free stay free, but people don't ever let me be free because I don't own anything. Like, I could go to your country, but I don't own anything. I don't have an inheritance there. My inheritance is Israel, actually. But who's in Israel? People occupying my land. They got our inheritance in their hands and shit. So we can't take hold of our inheritance because it's stolen. People got our shit, keeping our shit hostage. So where else do you go? We don't have a fighting force or a military to just run up in Israel and start shooting people down and take our land back. That's actually the reason why we went further. The main reason why those of us who wanted to serve the Most High, we left India. We were going to Israel to go home, but it was occupied by some bullshit, Romans and shit, and all kind of shit was going on. It was occupied. So we was like, nah, we can't go here and shit, because we left India from persecution to go to more persecution from Romans. Nah, we gonna leave and shit. Yehuda was still in there shaking and baking. We was like, nah, we'll leave. So we kept going further. Stuff like that. So we were trying to go home to serve Yah instead of staying in India. Kind of like leaving slavery. I'm leaving the land of my slavery and go home and shit, because I know if I go to Israel, my inheritance is there. I can own some shit. But in India, they ain't gonna ever own shit. They gonna be fucking me up. All because I don't want to bow to the shits and shit. So fuck it. Took your chances. And was like, nah, fuck that. I'm not going from slavery to slavery. And that's the case. That's the case with us. I'm not going from slavery to more slavery. Who does that? I'm a slave. I'm trying to get free from slavery. I'm gonna go somewhere where they're gonna treat me like a slave still. That's no remorse. Y'all, the whole world know that the Hebrews over here and the Indians over here, that the natives are slaves here for 500 plus years. We are burnt out. We're burnt the fuck out. But you're still looking at us like, if I can just get some of them and breed them, we can enslave their children and shit. The blood is burnt out. It's burnt out. So you thinking like the slave masters thinking, here, just keep having children so we can, the blood is burnt out already. Because you don't know yourself. You're empty. You don't know yourself. You don't know your purpose in life or nothing. You just want robots. And that's where it just get crazy. Even robots burn out. The energy burn out. Because it's like, you have a measure of energy, right? You have a measure of energy. And this measure of energy you can put into stuff or whatever. But you burning the energy out. You burning the energy out so long that you don't have enough energy to put into the robot. So every time you have children, you don't have enough original energy source to where these children can be born and have energy to keep pushing like that. You thinking that wherever these children coming from, they got fresh life or new life. No, it's burnt out energy of the people. Because heaven looks and they see like, yo, these people are in pain, and it's making me be in pain. And so for them to have children still, the children going to be in pain because we in pain. So it's just a bunch of pain to pain to pain to pain. And that's all we ever know is just fucking pain and shit. So you never come into a point of rest. You never come to a point of rest. The blood never rests. The souls of the people never rest. So slavery stays slavery, and you just be fucked up. and people would just be looking at you like, I want some more slaves and shit to build my shit. Like they built America. Like, what the fuck is you thinking? You know? And then you're not looking at the Caucasian people like you gonna be the next Caucasian people, the next Egyptians, the next people to be stupid. Because you're looking at right now, looking at some shit that need to be fixed, looking at some shit that, like, some land that can be grown some food on it and shit. EBT system, you looking at how the fuck they make an EBT system. Slavery, my nigga. They enslaved us so hard and worked us so hard that we got so much abundance of food that you can just give us an EBT system and we can just live off the EBT. That's how much they worked out as. Non-stop, no days off. No days off. Wake up in the middle of the night, dead tired. And still got to get up in the heat of the sun picking cotton or doing this or doing that. No days off, no rest. Fucking us up. And just non-stop building shit. Non-stop building. If you have slaves, you don't care about if they tired or not. Just keep working. So non-stop building. For free. Like, they don't pay them or nothing. Just make them work. Give them some water, give them some food, and make them work. Non-stop. Until they die. And if they die, just get another one. Where the breeding farms at? Give me a number from the breeding farms and shit. One strong one and shit. That's how they looked at us. Property and shit. Give me another strong one and shit. Yeah, that one. I mean, that one right there. This one right here died and shit. Go bury him and shit. He died and shit. My bad. You know, I went a little too overboard and was like, you know, well, I just shot his ass because I was angry. Shot his ass. Give me another one and shit. Like, you just went into the store and just bought some random ass pots and plates and shit, or some whatever utensils. That's how we looked at. How they looked at us. You know, we ain't had feelings and emotions or some shit. You know, fuck our wives, all that shit. It was just crazy, man. So that's what was happening to all of us. But my specific story was this. I'm just looking for parents. I don't have any parents. I need my parents. I still don't know my parents to this day. And that's all I've been looking for. But I've been looking for a wife now because I'm 40 years old, right? So I'm too old for my mother to really mother me. So, and it's just way too awkward. So what I'm going to do is let her stay in the shadows with it. And I'm going to try to find a wife. But then I can't find a wife because niggas don't want me to be free and shit. So it's like, I can't find a wife. And, if, you know, they're going to look at, like, if I get a wife that's free, they're going to try to make her a slave and shit. It's crazy. So it's like, well, we just not going to let him get married then. Like, how do you actually do that? Tell a man he can't get married when the Most High said it's not good that a man be alone. They like, fuck that. Fuck what God said. You just can't have nobody and shit because your pussy's burning and shit. And you don't want him to be with anybody. You look at him like property. That's how slavery was so vigorous like that it wired their brains like that. Their brains are wired like that. And they don't want to expose themselves that they're wired like that. It's going to fuck you up if they express how they really feel about the Hebrews and the natives here. It's going to fuck you up. Y'all really think like that about them? And they don't feel anything. Like, what the fuck? It's like no such thing as freedom. Like, there's no such thing as letting us go free in their brain. But in our brain, there's no such thing as freedom. We don't know how to be free. There's no such thing as that. So we don't know how to, or it's a thing that don't exist. In our mind, we'll only always be slaves and never be accepted anywhere in the planet. That's how we think. So we just like shut off on the people and stuff like that. And we be like, fuck everybody and shit, and just be wanting to die. For real. We'll just kill ourselves we'll just kill ourselves. And our family was like, damn, lost another one. And just keep on pushing. Like, it's normal to die. Like, for us, it's normal to die. It's normal as shit to die. You have a bunch of people in the hood, a bunch of young guys dying, getting shot and shit. You'll cry for like about 3 seconds and then go to work and shit. Damn, that's sad as shit. Shot my man and shit. Or, damn, shot my mother and shit. The police shot my mother and shit. You just walk away and shit. Cry for like about a strong ass month or 2 months. And just walk away and keep it pushing. That's as strong as it get. And keep it pushing. Like, man, we just go out here and get a job and shit. You still a slave and shit. And they looked at your ass like, you better not defend your mother. I shot her ass. You better not. That's how they look. You better not rise up. But he just shot your mother for no reason. So it's crazy, yo. They even look at, like, you're not even supposed to defend yourself, your mothers, your loved ones, or nothing. It's forbidden for you to defend yourself. That's how bad slavery got here. You know, people would think like that about you. So it's terrible, yo. It just don't seem like it because America's so beautiful. Technology, they can control media and shit. They can redirect you. Like, whereas though you trying to really know what the truth is going on here, they can redirect you like a motherfucker. And whereas though you thinking that you on the right path, you on the wrong path. You not. You got redirected. So you never come to the truth. You'll come to America and they so on you that you'll never come to the people that really own this place. You'll live your whole life here. 30, 40, 50 years you'll live here and never know that the natives or you'll never know what's going on here. They control the media that much. So, yeah, man. Anyway, I talked too long. That's the second video. I got to upload 2 videos. This one and the other video, but this is for the discreets as well as those who are not discreet, but it's discreet right now because I gotta wait to upload this after the Shabbat. But those who are discreet got this first. But I'm still gonna upload it on my YouTube or whatever the case. But at least you know, my personal story about why I'm not in India or stuff like that. My personal story is that I don't know where my parents are. So thank you for taking care of me, even though I don't believe in cow worship. And y'all believe in Hinduism, you gave me bits and pieces because it's like your parents ran away because they wanted to find God. You had enough respect for me to give me bits and pieces of what my parents believed in. Even though you wanted me to believe in cow worship, you gave me a choice. And when I didn't, you pushed me away and was like, well, we'll give you that much respect to not kill you, but let you go and find your parents and shit if you can find them. So I went out there in the ocean and shit. I'm out here. You know what I'm saying? I had a wife, you took her from me and shit. Because you want her to stay in the cow worship and shit, and she was really loving me, but she wasn't brave enough. She was too young to be brave and follow me, and they definitely wasn't letting her go with me. So what happened was, I went out there by myself. Never saw my wife again. Had a child and all that shit. Never saw my wife again. That's what happened to my second wife, Tanika. I asked her to come with me. Somebody called the police. Her mother or somebody called the police on me. Had my son in my arms. My daughter was like asleep, taking a nap with her grandmother, and the police come in there, threatening and shit, some da 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 da, rah rah rah, and I knew they was about to shoot somebody. So before they shot me, they was like, "You got to leave." I left and shit, but I just didn't leave like that. But I just didn't leave my wife. I said, "Come with me." I begged her to come with me. She's like, "No, I'm gonna stay and shit." I'm like, "Come on with me, come with me." She's like, "I'm gonna stay. You just go, and you go and prepare a place, and then send for me and shit." She divorced the shit out my ass within like a couple weeks. Divorced my ass within a couple weeks. Cut me off. Never saw my daughter again. And acted like I don't even fucking exist. Told me to turn my rights over and shit. All that shit. She turned that. She flipped the whole fucking story. I was the best father and the best husband ever she ever would have seen or knew. And turned that shit to make it look like I was the worst shit ever. Flipped the shit out of that because she's privy to the secret agent shit. So they can hide information and shit. So what they say goes, because it's like, oh, because you're discreet, y'all tell the truth or some shit. No, because you're discreet is more likely you'll lie, because it's discreet. But if the person that's loud and always on the camera and telling everything, he's the one that's telling the truth mostly. You know what I'm saying? Shit happened until you talking about another man's situation. Let that man talk about his own situation. That's how you know people be lying and shit. You quick to talk about another man's situation for him. Let him tell you himself. People be wanting to lie and deceive you and shit because they fucking you up and shit. And so whatever the case, that's mine. But my wife didn't come with me because she said she wasn't gonna come. Like, nah, I'm staying here. Cause what? The food, EBT system. Like EBT don't exist everywhere else, but also her family's there. So maybe she was thinking she didn't want nothing to happen to her family. She felt safer with her family, and if she go out there, it's gonna be dangerous. But at the same time, it was a lot more other bullshit. I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt. It was some less shit going on. It was just less shit going on, as well as the people that she's familiar with. And then she got the EBT, food stamps. All I did was get food stamps wherever the fuck I went. I went back to Baltimore and got back on food stamps. Utah, I was on food stamps after I couldn't work no more. I was on food stamps and I applied for SSI. Came back to Baltimore, applied for food stamps. Food stamps is in every state in this situation. It's for slaves. Slaves get food stamps and cash assistance, stuff like that, because we have nothing. We don't have an inheritance. We don't have a land to go back to. That's why they're trying to say, where are these people parents? Because they don't want to take care of us anymore. But it's not that. It's just they know that the land belonged to us, so they're trying to get India to come over here and take us back over there so they can rightfully take the land over and do whatever the fuck they want to do to the people that came over here. Like, people that originally wasn't here when they came. We were here first. Then they came and killed us and shit like that and took the land. So they want to take everybody else out, Asians and all kind of people that came here that wasn't here at first. so they can say they rightfully own the land. So they can say America's actually originally ours. Change the history, change the stories, change the books and shit like that, and lie to y'all asses. So you'll think that America was always America and shit, and we wasn't here first. So they trying to get the Indians to come and repossess us and bring us back to India and shit like that. So it's just crazy stuff, man. But this is not just Indian land. We are the tribe of Israel. We were just mixed with Indian and mixed with other stuff and shit. And we came over here because we chose the side of our blood to serve the Most High. I choose my Hebrew blood to serve the Most High, not my Indian blood to serve the Hindu gods. So I chose my Hebrew blood. That's all. And so because of that, I got pushed away. But my situation it wasn't really a push away. It was like I just don't know my parents, so I want to find my parents also. But I could have stayed type shit. But it's like, what's more important, staying? But at the same time, it's like, well, I don't want to serve those gods. I want to serve the gods of my parents and shit. I want to find my parents, but my wife didn't want to come with me. But I still was like, well, I'm gonna go find my parents and come back to my wife. If I can't find my parents, or if my parents don't love me or something like that, I'll just let you know what happened. So it was like, that was the struggle for me. My parents versus my wife. I never knew my parents, but like Aladdin and the King of Thieves bullshit. Jasmine is up here. He with Jasmine and shit. Don't know his parents and shit. That's just a street rat ass nigga and shit. Next thing you know, he Aladdin and the King of Thieves. The Oracle come out of nowhere. Where's my father and shit? And then she point that way and shit. He go that way across the ocean and shit. All the way across the fucking ocean. Nigga traveled across the fucking ocean to this turtle ass island and shit. Find his ass on some open sesame shit. This nigga's living in some cave ass open. Where the fuck? He go up and sneak in there. Find out his father here and shit. He found out that's him. Like, what the fuck going on here? Y'all niggas tripping. This niggas is crazy. His father is caught up in some bullshit. And then you trying to help your father that's caught up in some bullshit and shit. It's crazy. At the end, he finally respected his son enough to let go of his greed and shit. He ended, let go of his greed, let it go and shit, and stay with his son and shit like that. Whatever. It was crazy, yo. Something like that. Where's my parents and shit? That's my story. Where the fuck is my parents at? That's my personal story. But it's the hardest shit to leave your wife too. Like, so what do? Tell your wife I'm gonna go and come back. Keep in touch. But really she don't want you to go and shit because you might never come back. But it's like, yeah, I understand you need your father and mother. But it's like, I would go with you, but my parents and shit, you know how they is. And y'all just having this big ass cry session, making promises and vows. And if something happened to me, blood packs, you is so inseparable. You inseparable as shit. The most inseparable moment you ever had was the moment before you left, because you got to find your parents and shit. You went out there and died and shit, never came back. By default, you grew up and shit. Like, other people wanting to be with you. You probably was with somebody but never really was loving them, or people was trying to cover for me and shit, not sure if I'm still alive or not. So the relationship's not really working and shit, all kind of shit like that. You just looking for your husband the whole time, don't give a fuck about nobody. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, yo, if my husband did out there, it was never my husband betrayed me or didn't love me. It was like, yo, my husband need to find his parents. But if my husband did, I'm crazy as shit. So it's still the burn and the rage is in the blood still. So that's my story, personal story. But with my wives that came over here, that are the descendants of the women that came over here, are the hardy women. You running from some shit. So they phony and fake. They tell you that they serve the Most High so they can get close to you. But it turned out that they're a piece of shit. So the women over here on a mass level that left with the men were hoes and shit. They were running from guilt, running from murder and shit, running from being killed because they did some stupid shit, like had sex with another woman's husband or some shit like that. They was hoes and shit or whatever. They just was trying to like act like they living a new life or really try to give it a chance and really got stuck in their way or some shit and didn't change. Ended up becoming hoes on the ship, slutted out. By the time they got to America, everybody it was a mess for them. But for the men, a lot of the men was like, it was crazy. But my reason, I gotta find my parents, man. I ain't with all the dumb shit. people ask me questions. What you on the ship for? We all in the same boat. We all in the same boat. But that don't mean we all on the same boat for the same fucking reason. I'm the only person in the shit looking like a stowaway because I want to stay to myself and shit, but I'm not a stowaway. And everybody like, we all in the same boat. People want to rise up and shit. I'm like, what the fuck is y'all talking about? Well, what you doing here? We all in the same boat. You act like you better than us and shit. I'm just trying to find my fucking parents, my nigga. Oh. Turn out after everybody find out about the guy that looked like a stowaway that's not a stowaway, they put him in charge and shit. Finally, we make it to the fucking land and shit because they put me in charge because I'm just trying to find my parents and shit. But I gotta get back to my wife and niggas won't let me get back to my wife. Random ass girl trying to be with me and shit. Jealous and shit. You won't be with her or you won't be with me and shit. Don't want to let me go and shit because she need me to keep her safe and shit. It's crazy. She lied to me and shit. Like crazy. Like, man, no, I got a wife, yo. I got a wife. She got aggressive as shit. First time you ever seen a woman get aggressive and possessive and shit. How the fuck? Like, what the fuck? I got a wife. I told you I got a wife. She probably with somebody else by now. She don't love you. All the convincing and shit. All that, yo. Like, yo, I don't care about nothing else but trying to find my parents, yo. I find my parents, see what it is with my parents, and I'm on the next ship back to my wife, my nigga. Like, depending how the energy is. If my parents over here, they good. I'm gonna see what's going on. Depending on what's going on, I'm gonna bring my wife over here, or I'm just going back to my wife, and I just come back and forth and visit my parents. They wanted to come over here, they can come over here. I wasn't that guy, yo. I'm like, I'm staying where I'm at, my nigga. But I need my parents. That's my personal situation. I don't give a fuck. I'm where I'm at. That's where I'm from, my nigga. Like the fuck, I'm from here. Shit start happening and shit. Oh no, you ain't gonna outstep me even, my nigga. You killed my father, my mother on some what? Trying to find out information and shit. Thousands of years later, still trying to find out the details, like what the fuck really happened and shit. Still trying, like, yeah, that's it. What really happened for real? Where my parents at? Still the same story for me. What the fuck going on? What y'all do to my parents and shit? Wife is all out there and shit, but on Earth, my wives were just like pieces of shit. They was pieces of shit wrapped up in gift wrap and shit. So my original wife, I don't know. Still, you didn't make it back or some shit. They held you down and shit, and didn't let you leave. But they kept giving you women and shit, and giving you women because you have your needs. Kept giving you women that was enticing you and shit. You might as well procreate. But I'm like, fuck y'all. And they like, well, fuck you. Well, we gonna get you anyway type shit. We gonna put you in porn industry and shit like that. You know, because you became a man of God and shit, stronger than everybody else. Because you was doing it for your parents and shit. So you like, man, the God of my parents gonna save me then. If that's the case, then you start being extra spicy and holding on and shit. Thinking like, well, they probably did this to my father and my mother and shit. You thinking all kind of shit. So now you getting extra hot and spicy. Ain't seen your wife ever again and shit. The women's hurting on you and the men. Women just sucking your dick against your will and shit. All because you keep on being faithful to your wife that you ain't ever see it. You ain't ever gonna see again because they ain't letting you. You super faithful to your wife and ain't ever seen, don't know what she doing enough. I don't care what she doing. I'm gonna just get her back. You know what I'm saying? I know she probably thinking this or thinking that, but still, I come back, I can get my wife back. But it's like, yo, you not giving a fuck. You just held that man down. You did some extreme shit that never was seen before. The first time you ever seen a woman do some shit you never seen before, hold that nigga down and start pissing on his face and shit, rubbing a pussy all in his mouth and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, all that shit. Oh, you kiss your wife with this? All that shit. Start sucking your dick and pissing on your dick and shit like that. On all kind of shit to you. Like, this is my sperm now. Drinking your sperm and shit just for fun. Drinking your sperm for fun. Like, this is my shit now. You ain't got no wife. Like, all that. First time you ever seen a woman get aggressive like that. Because why? We the same people. And they don't like the fact that you seem to be moving away from them or something. Or betraying them and shit. So it's like, it was more personal. Don't leave me type shit. So yeah, the women were more aggressive. Like, you know, this is my shit now. Your wife she way the fuck over there. You still faithful to her. I'm like, why the fuck you even get on the ship and come over here? And you're saying you find out the women ain't get on the ship because they wasn't really trying to serve the Most High. It was fake as shit. It was aggressive and shit. Controlling and shit. So they start being like that. Controlling men and shit with their pussies and shit. By the time they got over here, niggas start fleeking, fucking up. Shit start happening, demon shit start happening and shit. Crazy. Lisa, if you ever played that new Tomb Raider, the new Tomb Raider where Laura Croft is in the caves and shit, but there's this one lady that's a native, but she's a demon or whatever. And she don't talk, she just screech and stuff. But all of the people that be chasing you down and shit be demon people and shit. It's demon natives and shit. They be deep in the cave and shit. Like on some Aztec mess, but they be demons and shit. And the woman just be a demon for real. And she don't talk, she screech. But at the same time, she think like a regular person. She cordially thinks. She all calm and cool and think and shit. But when she talks, she sound like a demon and shit. It's funny. And she learned, it was crazy. You gotta play that game. You gotta play that game. Laura Croft and shit. Laura Croft, the new Tomb Raider. I don't know if it's new Tomb Raider, but that was a hard ass Tomb Raider I was looking at, shorty. That Tomb Raider was hard as shit. But whatever. Yeah, that's my story, yo. That native, just because the woman is a native don't mean she ain't aggressive. She be aggressive as shit. No clothes on, pussy out. Where your wife at? I don't know. I gotta make it back to her. I don't think you gonna make it back to her. Trying to softly convince you and shit, but you not letting up, and you like, and you getting mad as shit. So you start doing shit to entice him and shit. And then, but my dumb ass give in and shit. Why? Because the God of your fathers is like, oh, you can be polygynous. Okay, so you can have more than one wife. Okay, then you start letting it slide. Okay, fine. But she was a piece of shit. That's all it was. She was just a piece of shit and you're just taking advantage of me. But I'm thinking I could be polygynous and have you, and then I can go and tell my wife what happened and shit. And I just had and maybe she might understand. I know she won't fuck me up, but she really can't. So I'm gonna give her some styrofoam and shit, and she can just fuck me up with the styrofoam bat. And I'll be like, sorry, baby, I was trying hard as shit to get back, but I was trying to find my parents for real. I was trying to find my parents so hard. Before I was born, I was trying to find my parents. Now that I'm born, I'm trying to find out, get to know my parents and shit, and still don't know my parents and shit. And still don't got no wife and shit. Still alone like a motherfucker. I don't know if I'm held hostage by the Kardashians or what, my nigga. I don't know what's going on. Because when you love somebody, you talk to them. But it'd be that controlling shit. It'd be dick-hearted. That dick-hearted shit. Women become controlling, and it proves, the story tells. Like, what kind of woman are you? You look at men and want to control them, or what? You're taking advantage of the fact that you're around gay men all the time to be a controlling woman, or if you're around good men or a straight, honorable man or a good man, would you actually be humbled down? You got to put that to the test and see. So then they never want to meet you and shit, because then it's gonna expose them and shit. I'm really dick-hearted for real and shit. I want to control men. So that's what your life become. Otherwise, you would have a innate feeling in your heart to be like, I got lines I just don't cross, my nigga. But you be crossing lines and shit, and then people be giving you the benefit of the doubt. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy. So that's my story, yo. That's my story. I left the house, left my sister, Michaela, Kylie Jenner. I left her to go out into space to find parents. And then when I found parents, I would come back in the house. Never came back in the house. I died and shit. Never made it back in the house to my sister / wife. My sister / wife and shit. Never made it back in the house to the bunker. Then I just kept moving forward, trying to find parents down here on Earth and shit. Different meta worlds and realms. Still ain't found no parents yet. Ran into China McClain, one of the parents and shit. They was like, whatever the fuck they had her doing, twisted up in some shit. That was crazy. Got shot in the chest by Optimus Prime. That shit got fucked up. Now I'm on Earth trying to find my actual biological parents. Don't know them either. Like, damn, don't know no parents. Kylie down here, and she's the only person like, damn, I can't even get my sister back and shit. So I'm dead. Like, it took everything from me, my nigga. So that's my personal situation, man. I never did anything crazy to nobody, man. I never. The only thing I said was that I'm going to follow the gods of my fathers, my parents, which is the Most High Creator. That's as far as it went with me. You could be like, okay or not okay. You can get mad or not get mad. It wasn't meaning I was trying to leave and shit. I just need to find my parents. But whatever, man. It is what it is. And I'm going to just let it go, y'all. I'm going to let it go. With that said, I'm going to say Shabbat Shalom. But that's my story.